Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to build a vinyl fence. In this video, I will go over the supplies and tools needed and give step-by-step instructions to help you complete your project. Before you start your fencing project, you must first gather all the permitting that is required and ensure all underground utilities are properly marked prior to digging. 811 is the national call before you dig phone number. Alright, the first thing you're going to need to do is decide which kit is right for you. There are many different styles and options when it comes to vinyl fencing. I decided to go with the Freedom Outdoor Living vinyl fencing from Lowe's. This is the fencing that I put up when we first moved in our home in 2017, and it's held up really well over the last 6 years and has been through several hurricanes, and other than a tree falling on it, there have been no other issues with it. With vinyl fence kits, there's a few things that you'll need to get started. First thing you're going to need is the vinyl panels. For the kit that I'm installing today, it is the 6x8 foot panels, and these typically run around $100 each. Next, you're going to need posts for your panels to connect to each other. There are going to be 3 types of posts you'll likely need for your project. First, there are the line posts, which are used in long straight runs of fence and are generally the majority of the posts that you will be using in your project. There are also corner posts. These allow the fence to change direction. And lastly, there are end posts. End posts are where you want the fence to end or where you would like to install a gate. If you are installing a gate, you will need 1 panel kit and 1 gate kit. However, in this video, I'm just going to be showing you how to install the actual fence. Something you'll also need is a cap for the tops of the posts. For the tools, I suggest that you have a sawzall or any kind of saw, as you will most likely run into some roots if you have a lot of trees like I do, and you're going to have to cut them out. I also use some pieces of wood just to provide a little gap underneath. I like having a little gap under the fence just so critters and any other animals that get into the yard can get out. I do have a dog, so I don't want anything to get trapped back here. You're also going to need a post hole digger, or if you like, you can rent a gas-powered auger, which will work as well. I also have a shovel and rake just to help make the ground level in certain areas so I can get a good level fence. You're going to need a level to make sure that all your posts are plumb, and a tape measure. Another tip is to run a top and bottom line from a post. This is going to be a good guide to keep your fence straight all the way down. It's typically not recommended to build your vinyl fence right up against an existing fence. As you can see, my neighbor added new panels on the inside of his old post and had no intentions of removing his fence, so I had no other option. If he ever decides to ever tear down his fence, you will have a nice new one. Once you have your first post set, you will need to measure the distance to the next post. I like to measure from the outside of the post, 7 foot 8 inches, or you can measure from the center of the post, 8 feet. Go ahead and mark your spot and dig the hole about 10 inches in diameter and 2 feet deep. Once you get your hole dug to 2 feet, go ahead and place your post inside the hole and ensure that your line post is on your line. Other people have also asked me if it's necessary to put wood inside your posts. When you use wood inside the post, it does come in contact with the top layer of soil. This, combined with moisture that gets trapped in the post, can accelerate rot and decay of the wood, and essentially providing no benefit. I did use a pressure-treated 4x4 in one of my end posts for one of my gates on another part of my yard. I built this gate probably about 2 years ago, and I can already tell that the wood is starting to rot. I recommend you do not use any type of insert unless it's metal or concrete. I know in Lowe's they do have aluminum ones that you can get for these kits. And really the only time you're going to need these inserts is to be used on gates to prevent them from sagging. Next, go ahead and grab one of the rails from your panel kit. They're both the same, so it doesn't really matter which one you get. You're going to start on the bottom and run it through the bottom hole of both posts. Next, we're going to be adding the panels. There's going to be a little trim piece that goes on the first and last panel in each kit, and this is just to give it that clean look. Just take it and slide it down into the little slot on the bottom rail, and then push it flush against the post, like that. And then just repeat the process all the way down. Next, we're going to be installing the top railing of the fence. Once you get it started on one side, then you basically just push it down on top of the panels and get it lined up with the hole. then push it into the opening of the other post. If you're having a problem getting it into the hole or over the panels, a good trick is to use some soapy water on the top of the panels and it will slide right down on top. What you get is a nice tight panel section. Something I learned over the years is that some posts move more than others and the top rails sometimes tend to pop out. To solve this, go ahead and put a screw in each rail and this will prevent it from popping out in the future. To finish off the look of the fence, we're going to put the top cap on the posts. If you do decide to use vinyl cement on your caps, I do recommend only doing a small amount and one corner. I actually used vinyl cement all the way around the cap before, and let's just say it's much harder to take off if you need to fix anything in the future. And it most likely will damage the cap or the post. Like I said, a small amount will keep the cap from blowing off. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this line of fencing, and then I'm going to fill the post holes with concrete. As you can see on this hole right here, there was actually a lot of roots. That's why the Sawzall comes in handy to cut them out. When you get to the end of the line of fence, you will often run into a section that will need to be shorter to fit the distance between posts. To do this, you will need a vinyl cutting blade to cut both top and bottom rails and a panel as well, if necessary. I have made a video on showing how to do this in more detail if you need it, and we'll leave a link down in the description below. Next, we're going to move on to concreting each post. When using concrete, you should always use the recommended water amount. So for a 60-pound bag, you need 2.5 quarts. So for me, I just used a half-gallon milk jug, which is actually 2 quarts. So what I do is I fill it up once and then a quarter of the way. And that's exactly what you need. Using the correct amount of water keeps the concrete the right consistency and it has the highest strength. Go ahead and work the concrete into the hole and remove any air pockets using a wooden stake or something to push it down with. As you add the concrete, ensure that your posts stay vertically plumb using a level and remain on the guidelines you used to ensure that they are straight as the concrete dries. Go ahead and allow the concrete to set up for at least 24 hours, and after that, you have yourself a new fence. So I went ahead and gathered all the pricing as of today, which is August 2023. In total supplies, it would cost $1,478.50, or if you wanted to do it by the linear feet, it would be $20.53 per foot. Well, I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching.